Qu'est-ce qui se passe? What is up, Warriors? We are back live to bring you everything that has to do with Year 8, Season 2, TU1, the Muramasa Blade.
Yeah.
But first, Nolan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Brian. Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here. And you know, you saying that Year 8 Season 2, it's a mouthful, but you know what it really is?
Huh.
This is our 30th
It is
season. Like, that's insane.
our 30th season.
Yeah, that's
30.
that's a big number.
Yeah, I turned 40 on Friday, so 30.
Oh.
30's good. I like 30.
Wait, last Friday?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
this last
happy
Friday.
belated birthday.
Thanks.
All right, say happy birthday to Brian, everybody.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be a dad next month, too. It's
Woo,
gonna be awesome.
man, all the big
Yeah,
news
all the big
coming out.
milestones.
We
We
got
got
the big
30 seasons of For Honor.
Yeah.
I got 40 years on the planet. About to have a new little guy. But yeah,
new little warrior coming in soon.
speaking of things dropping into the world.
Oh, that's right. That is an excellent segue, Brian. So, yes, that's right. Folks out there, listen, if you know me, you know how much I love Twitch drops, all right? I talk about it every time, but you out there need to love them as much as I do. So please make sure that before we get any further into the show that you've linked your UB Connect account to your Twitch account. That way, for every 30 minutes that you're with us today, you're going to get a scavenger crate. And at the end of the show, we're going to pick some lucky winners to win a grand prize of either 100K steel or the brand new hero skin, which is looking really sweet.
So make sure your accounts are linked and that you're redeeming those rewards, because every single den I see in the chat, when I reread the chat, that someone's missed it. Someone's like, no, I forgot to redeem. So do it now.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Yeah, but we've got a lot to cover in this den. So coming right up, we've got all the Year 8, Season 2, TU1 details that you at home want to know about. But first, we're going to kick it off with a kick-ass trailer that was shown at UB Forward yesterday. So for those of you who didn't watch UB Forward or didn't see the trailer before it was supposed to come out, take a look now.
That's the time.
I remember a time of peace, of cherry blossoms and summer winds. Another life no longer meant for me. Bushido called in the shape of a blade, the last of its kind. Our enemies are legion. They strike at us by the swarms. But 1,000 blades cannot match mine. Send your armies. I will be waiting for anything and anyone.
Hope you enjoyed that trailer. Welcome back. I'm joined by JC and Raphael. Welcome back to the den.
Thank you.
Is
Still
it-
alive, by the way. So
Oh, yeah. Still kicking.
Still
yeah.
kicking. That's good.
Yeah,
And how are
really
you-
happy to be here. Really excited to talk about all that we have to present today.
That's really good, because if you weren't excited to be here, that would be awkward.
Probably.
Yes.
But it's so cool. It's our 30th season, right?
It is.
It's amazing. Like
Big
30
3-0.
seasons of Max over there.
Yeah,
when the
because he's
Warriors
been
win.
every single one.
Every single one.
For colleagues having pizza
Yep,
while
never
we have
missed.
to work.
Exactly.
The man is a machine.
It's amazing.
Max the machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to talk about all the things, all the details for Year 8, Season 2, TU1. Let's just jump into it. JC, can you tell us what we can expect from this season?
So there's a lot of stuff coming for this season. So in Title Update 1, we have a new Battle Pass, a new Legacy Pass, new armor variations, a launch event, new hero skin, right? Master Katashi, you're going to tell us about him.
Yes.
Awesome looking stuff.
You better.
We have the competitive circuit starting. We have 3 Hero Fests for Kensei, Shinobi, and Kyoshin. And we also have a throwback event, which is Carousel of Fire.
Yes.
In TU2, we have our new hero.
Dun, dun,
I don't know what that is. I've
dun.
never seen that hero in my life. I don't know what it looks like. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. You,
Have we created
of,
it
of all the
yet?
people, you
We
would
don't do
know
that
the
the
most.
week
I have no idea what's going on there. But yeah, a usual event pass, Hero Fest, throwback event. So all sorts of cool things coming this season. Super psyched.
Super
Season
hyped.
30.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
Let's talk about lore, because every single person in the chat is a lore fiend. So
Yes.
we're going to make sure that they get all the details on the lore. So, Raphael,
Once we're
what's
done
going
with
on?
the narrative segment, the show is over, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Why-
only
there's,
thing we
there's
talk
nothing
about.
else. There's what else do you need?
I'm not here for patch notes.
Why would you be here? So yes, some lore. As you know, the first season in that year was a knight-centered season. We had 2 skins, the Unsung Knight, the Edio Auditore skin. And now, this second season is a samurai-centered season. We will be exploring the core values of the samurai through a legendary weapon called the Muramasa Blade. Hey, that's the name of
Hey,
the season.
that's the
And
name
the
of the season.
wielder of that blade, called Master Katashi, our Orochi new skin.
Looking fresh right
Looks
there. Looking,
amazing.
yeah,
Yes.
that's clean. I like it. So I heard you mention Master Katashi. We just saw him there. So I'm assuming this is our new Orochi hero skin.
Absolutely. It will be available in 2 days on June 13th. 13th. What I
13th.
really, but let's talk about a bit about how he looks like and what's his story. So let's start with the blade. This is what we do when we design something new in For Honor. And in this case, we got inspired by a real Japanese history and a real swordsmith called Sango Muramasa. This Muramasa in our lore was a legendary swordsmith. He created blades that were extremely deadly, elegant, and actually so deadly and so good at killing that they were considered a bit bloodthirsty. They would make you unhinged. They would take or have the violence come out of you and really make you even more violent and bloodthirsty than you already were.
I get
So,
that. I get that.
yeah, when you have a
perfect
blade in
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There, no, for real. There are some swords that I'm like, I'm gonna stab someone.
I saw that last week
Let's
when we
go.
practiced. So yeah, the blade. Sorry, the blade. What the samurai did with these blades, the Muramasa blades that this swordsmith created, is that they decided, okay, these are too violent, too dangerous. We cannot leave them there. So they decided to destroy all of them. But Muramasa was unhappy that his life's work would be destroyed, so he managed to get all of the shards, or mini shards, and from them, in secret, he forged a new one, a new
Master
blade.
sword.
Yes, one to control them all. And this new Muramasa blade, the last one in existence, is a concentrated version of all of the blades. It has all of the deadliness, all of the sharpness, all of the elegance, but also it brings so much bloodthirstiness out of you that, well, it has the power of an army, but also the bloodthirst of one. And it has the
Blade
long...
comes with murderous intent.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
And it has fallen in many bad hands, or it has corrupted the hands of the many wielders it had in the samurai history, until it went into the hands of Master Katashi, our new hero skin. This Master Katashi, so Orochi, great master, is a man. He exemplifies the values of the samurai. He is a master of Zen, patience, calm, discipline, a man who works on himself a lot. We don't know much about him. You will know a bit more if you read the short stories that will be out in 2 days. But so Master Katashi, we know that he was a wandering angel going around the samurai lands, trying to help people. And one day in the village, he killed a brigand chief, and he took the blade from that man, the Muramasa blade. And instantly he sensed the potential of the blade. Its potential to do good, but also its impulse to do bad, to kill people.
So he took
But
it.
him
Like, I can
being
fix it.
Yes, yes, he can fix it. He can make it. He can change
I
it.
can fix them.
Yes, because he is such a special Zen master. So he manages him alone to have only the good get out of that blade. And he decided to use it for good, to use it to protect the realm of the samurai, the Mire, their swampy homeland. There are very few access points to this homeland, and he has positioned himself on one of these, a bridge called Seion Bridge. And here he has, defended the bridge against all enemies for years. Doing this, he has enhanced the legend of the sword. He has enhanced the legend of the bridge too. That has now a cool new nickname. It is called the Bridge of 1,000 Blades because of the 1,000 blades of the 1,000 enemies that Master Katashi and his Muramasa blade have beaten, protecting the bridge and the mire.
I like that. That works for me.
I hope it is
unlimited blade.
Yes. As you can see, I think it is a really deeply Japanese story. And we were, of course, inspired by real Japanese themes, real Japanese culture, real Japanese history. We twist it in the Forerunner recipe or inside of the, Forerunner lore. But still, it has a real background in Japanese culture.
Nice. The Verona kitchen whipped it up.
Yeah.
And now we got good eats. We got good eats. We cooked.
Yes.
So, for those of you who want to learn more about Master Katashi and who he is and what he's about, check out the short stories, which will be dropping on the website in 2 days. The skin will be out on the 13th for $11.99 US or 25K steel. The Bridge of 1,000 Blades. I believe we have some map realization, so you can realize just how many blades are in this map.
Yes.
So, Ralph, what can you tell us about this seasonal theme and what players can look for in the realization?
So I told you that for this season, we got inspired by Japanese culture. It's the case also for the event team who has created the map realization. This season, it has been designed to evoke curiosity and to have the players poke their imagination to try to find hidden meanings into things. This is a really deeply Japanese thing, once again. As a samurai-centered season, we try to, we have two main inspirations. One is Noh theater, an ancient traditional form of Japanese theater, and the other is
right?
Yes,
NOH.
If
you're right. Google it.
It is really beautiful, inspiring, and it speaks in metaphors, and it's the same thing for our second inspiration, Zen Garden. So what you have in these two things is that the storytelling, the emotions are transmitted through symbols and metaphors. In the map realization, you will see a lot of elements that represent something much more meaningful than what they appear to be. There is a message behind it. You have it on the bridge itself with red petals on the ground that represent the spilled blood spilled by the enemies of the samurai, spilled by the Muramasa blade and Master Katashi. You have also the katanas in the vista that represent the defeated enemies, the 1,000 blades. And there is another idea, the idea of duality, the fact that you have an equilibrium that is coming from two different things that oppose themselves. Here you have this in the vista in the Zen garden, where you have calm and motionless, and in contrast, you have on the bridge the battle, the everything that's happening there with the blood being spilled. In general, I would say that you can expect to find hidden meanings everywhere in the map, and I would
Easter
be
egg
really
time.
yeah no history time no. We've done a lot of history here. I'm here to represent the dozens of people who have worked on the art side, on the narrative side, on the map realization side. We are here, we're the one talking, but there are many people behind that are doing the work.
A lot of people
So
behind all
big-
of that work extremely hard. Like,
Yeah,
kudos.
big shout out to the team who worked on the map realization and all of their collective work.
Yeah.
I love the Zen Garden. I want to know how long it took whomever to rake all the sand to make it look so nice. If it was Master Katashi, that exemplifies patience.
It is a weekly job.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I would get like 10 feet and be like, I'm done
Yeah.
with the.
But then it wouldn't look as good. That's the problem.
But yeah, everything looks great. It sounds great. But speaking of things that sound great, we've also got a battle pass and a legacy pass coming your way in just 2 days. So let's take a look at everything now. Oh, we skipped the in-game menu realization. Thank you, Max. Let's take a look at that real quick. So we've got Master Katashi here posting up
On his
looking
bridge.
slick on his bridge.
South screen, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And you got a nice peep at the world map there, as well as our minions, which are looking very, very shonen, right there. But yeah, it looks great. So let's take a quick look at the Battle Pass and Legacy Pass offerings. So first up, we've got Battle Pass for Year 8, Season 2. Here you can see our battle outfits. We've got the Masterful Mask and the Masterful Calm. And I believe there's some elements of no theater in these, where the
Yes.
faces like change depending on the angle.
Absolutely, you'll see it especially in the Mask of the Moon effect. But here you have the duality and you have the Zen element that is being brought to the forefront in these creations by our art team.
Yeah. And no masks are really interesting. You can see some of them like right now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
often enough, like depending on which angle you're looking at, so no performers would have these masks on, right? And they would kind of change they would tilt their head to show different expressions.
Yeah.
But it's super cool because you look at the mask and you see something, you're like, okay, and then you see the person turn like, oh wait, that's completely different. And it looks really awesome. Like honestly, it's I've looked at it a little bit.
Kind of like a Morphe, like,
yeah, a little bit.
kinda vibe.
It's amazing.
But that's not all. We've also got an emote, which is that's the
podium.
Oh, it's a signature first. They're out of order. Yeah. There's the podium. Then we have, I believe we have. Did we already see the trophy head emote? Where's it at?
So this
There
is
you go. We got
this
some
is the mood
effects. They're out of order. Oh, I'm out of order. I'm reading the list wrong. I'm reading the list wrong.
Exactly.
That's on me. That's on me. But yeah, next up we got Execution Mega Super Combo Punch. I love this one.
Yeah.
I saw some people, being sassy about it on Reddit yesterday, and I was like, nah, you're wrong. It's cool.
it's more modern Japanese culture in this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. And then we have a sneak peek at the weapons, which we'll get a full look at later. So we've got Glad here with the Masterful Vigorous, and then I believe we have a Highlander, with Masterful Veneer. I think I said that right. I don't know.
I would say so.
I try. I make an effort.
you know,
But
yeah.
let's take a look at Legacy Pass stuff real quick. First up, for the Year 4 Season 2 Legacy Pass, we've got a pair of battle outfits. We've got Horkos Theorem and Horkos Crystal, seen here on everybody's favorite Blindo the Clown and Mr. Griffin. And then we've got Horkos Fealty Ornament. I've always liked that one. It's like crispy with the coming out the eye. It's good to pair with the one blue eye effect. Then we've got Horkos Trophy, finally, which I thought was coming up, but here it is. And then the Horkos Pharmakos Execution, seen here on everybody's favorite Ocelot. And then a quick look at some weapons. We've got the Sunset of Horkos. Oh, we get the Phantom Effect first, then a Mood Effect, and then the weapons. Here we go. The Sunset of Horkos weapons seen here on Varangian Guard. I'm crushing it today.
This looks so good.
Yeah.
It's a big list. Every time I look away, I lose my place on it. But wait, that's not all. There's more. We've also got a free event pass coming your way, in which this will be live from June 13th to July 4th. And here are the rewards for it. You can get the battle outfit Enduring Harmony. Looking crispy there on Mr. Holden Cross. And then we've also got an ornament, Winds of Endurance. I quite like this one. This one looks real good on some Warmonger shoulders, a couple other heroes. And then we have Samurai effect or Samurai Endurance effect shown here on the most Samurai hero we could find. But it doesn't stop there. We've also got armor variations coming up for the Samurai, the Wulin, and the Outlanders. Here's a quick sneak peek at those armor variations, and then we'll roll the full set later in the show. And yeah, just a reminder before we move on, for Year 8, armor variations will now be coming into TU1, and weapons will be coming into TU2. So we switched that up, if you remember, last season, and so just a reminder that that's how it works now. But JC, Raphael, thank you so much for joining me on the Den and for explaining all of the deep lore, the deep magics, because you were there. You were there when they were written.
Oh yes,
No, I was
there 3,000 years
I'm the one
ago,
who turned 40. I was the one who was there when
That's
they
a
were written.
vampire. You don't know, but like.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that why? Is
Living.
that explain this?
Yes, all the
Oh,
blood. Yes.
okay. Got it. That's why I'm lightheaded. So stick around. We'll be showing all the Battle Pass cosmetics during the transition, and then after that, we're jumping into esports.
Yeah.
We're going to talk esports, all the things. So don't go anywhere. Check out the video. We'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, Warriors. I am joined for the very first time on the Den by Anthony, who this is the first time. You've never been here.
Yep. Very excited to be here. Thanks
So,
for having me.
What? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do on For Honor? For those who have never met you, who is everyone?
Everyone in the chat.
Everyone. No one's
in the
met you
chat.
except for the two guys.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an associate product manager on the For Honor dev team, and I work alongside our tournament organizers, Spaniard and Nutella, who I'm sure you're all very familiar, very prominent community members.
You better be.
Two gems.
'Cause they're
Love them.
everywhere.
Love them.
They're also behind the the Info Hub. Almost whiffed it on that one. The For Honor Info Hub. They're the brainiacs behind that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Anthony. We've got a lot coming up this year in For Honor Esports. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what's coming with the competitive circuit?
Sure. Yeah, I'm very pleased to announce that we have a competitive circuit coming titled Friend or Foe, and it's beginning in just 3 weeks. So
3
very,
weeks.
very soon.
That's it. 21 days.
Yeah. Super exciting. Can't wait to get into the details.
I'm excellent at math. Or maths if you're from across the pond. But yeah, so what can you tell us about the circuit? Kind of how does it work? Because I think we've had things like it, but never all of the things that are in it.
Yeah, so it's heavily inspired, and it took into a lot of account of from previous years, even more particularly like the previous tournaments that we've done, like Into the Fray. So that's our 4v4 Dominion. We also did a Dual Frenzy, which the response, like the overwhelmingly positive. It was super awesome. So this circuit is really based off those learnings. But yeah, for this circuit, for Friend or Foe, it'll be 3 phases with a total prize pool of $17,000.
That's a lot of scratch.
A lot of schmackers.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and break it down for us?
Yeah.
And how these phases will work.
Yeah, for sure. So phase 1 will be a 4v4 Dominion tournament beginning June 29th, and will run similarly to how Into the Fray ran. So 4 open qualifiers, 1 closed qualifier, and then series final weekend. That's like generally how it's going to run, but we tried to spice things up this time around and allowed...
Because I like spice.
Oh, yeah. We got all the spice here. It ain't esports without a little bit of spice.
I know. Don't let this porcelain exterior fool you. This man loves spice.
We're basically going to allow the top 8 players from phase 1, so the finalists, since it's 4v4, we're going to allow them to break off into pairs and form new teams and enter the closed qualifier of phase 2, which is going to be a 2v2 tournament. These players that are forming new teams are inevitably going to be facing off against each other again.
Friend against friend.
Exactly.
Brother against brother. Foe against foe.
Exactly. Got to find out who your real friends
Now
are.
I know why I named it.
Exactly. Moving on to phase 2, this will be a 2v2 brawls tournament sometime happening in Year 8 Season 3. 4 open qualifiers, 1 closed qualifier, and this is where the winners of the open qualifiers will play, but also the finalists from phase 1 will be playing. So the new teams that were formed are getting a direct bye into this closed qualifier. So again, like a lot of potential for some storylines. A lot of juicy things can happen.
Yeah,
I'm
all
really
the people who like are hardcore brawl players just sat up and went,
hell
real,
yeah,
real shit.
That's it.
And so I'm assuming there's a similar like theme with if you're finalist.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the top 4 players of phase 2 will once again be split and enter the closed qualifier for phase 3, which, I mean, you can all see is a 1v1 tournament, which will be happening sometime in Year 8 Season 4.
Nice.
Yeah, basically the entire circuit is culminating here. Ex-teammates are going to be riddled throughout the entire tournament. Only one player is really going to walk away.
There can be only
as
one.
the champion of the Friend or Foe circuit. So
nice.
Looking forward
See
to
what
it.
you've done.
Yeah.
It's a reverse pyramid. But it's a down thing.
Where's the camera? This one?
Yeah, the red
Marketing.
light.
Marketing.
Red means go. No, this all sounds super awesome, and honestly, I can't wait to see how it plays out because there are characters in the competitive scene that you're like, oh yeah, when you see their names come up, you're like Nemesis. You're like, oh yeah, I kind of know how that's gonna work out, but this is going to force them to fight each other.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm super here for.
It'll be awesome.
I want to see some hair pulling. I want to see some biting. I want to see some people get irritated with each other. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it ain't esports without
Don't
a little bit of
actually
drama.
pull hair or bite.
No, don't do that.
That's-
Don't do
we-
that.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Be kind to each other. Good sportsmanship.
Beat each other up in the game, you know? Like that's where it'll happen.
And there's more, though, because for those of you who are viewing and tune in to or participate, excuse me, for those of you who participate, the viewing is another thing. For those of you who participate at all, you'll unlock the mood effects Rampage of the Yokai.
Oh yeah.
And this is simply just for participating in any of the 3 phases. So, no matter where you participate in friend or foe, you'll unlock the mood effects. So sign up for phase 1 are live now. The link is pinned at the top of the chat, at least it should be.
Chat
And yeah, the chat's right here. So there's the link. Chat's over there. And yeah, if you don't have teammates, join the For Honor tournament Discord and check out the Looking for Team channel or LFT channel, and you can team up with people, have a blast. The link to the tournament Discord should be dropping in chat right now. I don't know if we have another one here, but if not, it's in the chat over there. Knife hand it. But yeah, we've also got an article rolling out that details everything. So if you're like, I missed some of that, or like, my dog was making noise, I didn't catch all that, you can read the article and get all of the details on Friend or Foe. And stick around because we're going to be back with JC with some patch notes. But before then, thank you for joining me on the Den.
Thank you for having me.
You did a fantastic first appearance.
Thank you.
Mike would be proud.
Love Mike. Love that guy.
For all of you at home, stick around. We're going to take a look at the armor variation full video, and then we'll be back with the Lord and Savior of For Honor Balance, Mr. JC Franet. So don't go anywhere. Check out these armors. Fashion!
Welcome back, Warriors. Thank you so much for joining us once again on the couch. And thank you, JC, for coming back. We missed you in that last segment.
Yeah, I know. I had to go take a nap because I was tired.
A little, yeah.
But now I'm
Are
fully
you
awake
good? You
now. We're
got
good
the
to
energy
go.
now?
I'm going to do patch notes.
It's back up. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, JC, always a pleasure to have you here. Always a pleasure to talk balancing, the upcoming updates.
Always happy to be here.
Yeah.
Always, every single time.
Oh, I know that, and that's great. And
I have
and
my
you-
legions of fans, everything. It's
They're-
great.
they're
They,
everywhere. I know they're everywhere. We love that you're all out here, so that's great.
get
And
stopped on the street. Everybody, I'm like,
Do they? They
I'm
stop
a
you on the
real
street?
celebrity now.
they ask you for balance on the street.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, please fix this, and all the things, and you do it.
And I say yes to everybody, but
You say yes to everybody. That's right. Like,
it works.
absolutely, that's not how it works. Please don't assume. Please don't assume that's how it works.
yeah.
But we do have quite a few notes to talk about today.
Yes.
Some really cool stuff. So let's dive into it, JC.
Let's dive into it, right? So, patch notes again, 30th season, amazing. We're
Mhm.
doing something we haven't done in a little while,
Oh,
which is feet balancing.
whoa.
So, just to give a bit of a heads up, you might have noticed that we didn't talk about testing grounds
I did notice, yes.
in the schedule, right? The reason for that is because we were actually going to put a bunch of, like, all we're going to be talking about for feed balancing specifically into a testing ground.
Mhm.
But then as we were working on it, we decided, well, you know what? We can actually just push this live and do it now instead of going to a testing ground. We're very, very confident with these changes for those. So we're like, well, we're going to do it now. And then instead of like testing ground and pushing it in 3 months.
Yeah.
So this is why there's no testing ground this season. We wanted to make sure that, stuff could get pushed right now. That would be good.
Nice.
Right, so let's go over it. So for tier 1 feats that we're looking at, right? So first we have Ki. It deals 80 stamina damage. It used to just deal like 120 or something. It was guaranteed to put you out of stamina every single time, right?
Yeah.
So at 80, what it does is at least you have to think a little bit more when you're gonna use it. I paid the price in a PlayStation we did earlier this week, where I put it and I forgot that we had did that balancing change, and then oops, somebody wasn't out of stamina, and I kind of wasted my feet. It's not a total waste, but it's still it's not as useful. So really, the idea here is we want to make sure that people are thinking about it a little bit more for when they're going to trigger it. Then we have Sinister Shield, so Blackbriar is tier 1. So it's been overperforming a bit. Blackbriar is very, very strong. His feats are extremely strong. And in this case, we want to rebalance it a little bit so that first you have to sacrifice a bit more health to give the shield. The shield, the amount that you give is the same, but Blackbriar has to pay a bit more of a cost, right? It's easy to heal with BP. You don't have to worry too much about it. So with this, it's a bit more of a price to pay. And we also lowered the duration of the shield by 2 seconds. So that's 8 instead of 10. So again, lowering it a little bit so that there's a bit more risk to using it. There's a little bit less reward as well, but it's still a very good feat.
Yeah.
Shields are good. There's a lot of good stuff that coming with shields, so that's amazing there.
Cool.
Next, we have Gravity Pull, which is Ephira's tier 1. So 2 big changes to it. First, it deals 15 damage instead of 20. And we've also increased the cooldown to 90 seconds. It used to be 60, right? So
Right.
Ephira is overperforming. Again, we've been talking about it a little bit. Her feats are a big portion as to why she's a bit too strong right now. So by changing that feat, it's very useful, right? From neutral, you do stuff. You can do it for out of stamina, from a lot of different
Yeah.
things. So it's very, very useful. It's hard to react to for a lot of players. It guarantees gank setups and stuff. So by lowering the cooldown, one of the big things that it does is that normally at 60 seconds, it's one of our metrics. Typically, you get into a fight every minute-ish while you're playing, right? Unless you're camping a point and you're just saying, whatever. But you get into a fight every minute-ish. So that feat was available pretty much every single fight. At 90 seconds, it's every fight and a half.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, you have to think a little bit more when you're going to be using it. You still unlock it really early.
Right.
You're still going to use it quite a bit. But there's going to be that downside there of you have to think about more when you're going to be using it. And the damage being lowered also kind of impacts a lot of the ganking potential and the damage potential out of that feat. So again, a nice little change there, a bit of a nerf, but it's good. Finally, we have Take Shelter, which is Varangian's tier 1. I'm saying that right, I think.
You did, yeah.
Awesome. I kept messing it up.
Listen for
Yeah, right. So her first feat, it was healing for 10 every time you superior block. We're lowering it to 5. It's a change that we were potentially going to do for launch. We were a bit concerned with the power level of the feat. The feat is pretty good, right? Varangian is Varangian.
Uh,
In a good position, generally, like a very strong hero.
Yeah.
But feats are like that feat specifically was a bit too strong.
Mhm.
So putting it down to 5 should be a bit more equal to. It still heals more than a lot of healing feats. It has more healing potential than a lot of
Right.
feats have throughout an entire game. But at 5, at least it's cut in half, so it's still going to be good. It still cleanses, so that effect is
That's
still
huge,
there.
yeah.
It's very good. We actually need to cleanse when we heal for the moment because otherwise they have potential issues with bleeding and so all sorts of things that it kind of messes with the UI quite a bit. So we want to make sure that this stays there. And that's good and it works well.
Nice.
Let's look at tier 2 feats. We have one change here, which is Juggernaut. So Juggernaut is like, I remember reading on some Discords and a lot of stuff that well, Juggernaut still exists, so it doesn't matter. So we're nerfing Juggernaut. So 2 things, right? The damage reduction is now 20% instead of 50, and we increase the cooldown to 120 seconds, up from 90. The big thing here is that like Juggernaut, basically, usually we would just pop it. We wanted to keep the armor on it, by the way. Right? When you
Yeah.
pop Juggernaut, you get like full armor the whole time when you're attacking, so you're very, very hard to punish. But the big thing here is by lowering the damage reduction, you take a lot less favorable trades, right? It's still 20%. You're still generally favorable, but less favorable than 50%. If I'm gonna throw a heavy at you, you're not gonna take 12, right? You're gonna take much more. So that makes a big difference there. And also making the cooldown a bit longer. Make sure that you have to think a bit more when you're gonna pop it. So that makes it nice. One thing here that looks like it's probably missing, because I know a lot of people in chat are probably going, "What about Shinobi? What about shooting stars?"
What about?
Right? And I just want to bring up shooting stars very, very, very quickly because we're aware that the feat has an issue with hitting the same target multiple times. It is not the easiest thing to land, and we debated a lot internally as to do we take shooting stars, nerf it to the ground, and make it do 5 damage, and feel extremely bad in most situations, like 95% of situations, to account for the edge case that occurs once in a while where it's gonna hit multiple times for the same person. And we decided to keep it as is for now because we're looking at reworking the feat entirely so that the issue just cannot happen anymore. But that's not coming right now. So I wanted to make sure I address it. We're not ignoring it. We know it's a problem. We are going to fix it. We're going to change it. But for now, we made the decision not to kill it just because we tried it at 5 damage. And it's like you throw it, and most of the times you don't even see your opponent's health bar move, right? And so even as a tier 2, that felt really, really, really bad. So we wanted to make sure that it was still, usable when you're playing matchmaking. We know the feat is banned in competitive anyway, so it wouldn't have much of an impact there. It might have gotten unbanned, but then it wouldn't have felt good anyway. So that's kind of the idea here.
Okay.
For shooting stars. Next, tier 3 feats. I know some people are going to be happy. I'm sure that is going nuts about the last one, but we'll go over it. So first, Afira again, Speeding Comet or unique tier 3. So we've lowered the damage by 10. So used to deal 30, now it deals 20. And the cooldown is now also 120 seconds, up from 90. Speeding Comet is very, very strong. It guarantees a heavy afterwards, guarantees a wall spot if there's a wall nearby. You have a lot of damage output, a lot of ganking potential. You have full block while you're running. It's an extremely good feat, right? So we're taking a first step here by lowering its damage by 10. If it needs to be nerfed further, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if we can nerf it more. Same for the cooldown, right? It went from 90 seconds to 120. You won't be able to use it as often. Normally, when you get your tier 3 feat, if it's a 2-minute cooldown, you can expect to use it maybe twice, like maybe 3 times in a game, right? Like generally. So it won't be as prevalent as it was, hopefully. And then the total effect of it is also a bit lower, right? Lowering it by 10 damage, it makes a difference. It's not a huge difference, but it's enough that it impacts the feat quite a bit.
Yeah.
Next, we have Pugio. So Pugio was doing a bit too much damage on top of everything else it does. Guarantees a fully charged heavy, guarantees a bunch of different things. So with this, lowering it to 15 instead of 25, again, 10 less damage, makes the feat, it feels less bad when you get hit by it, right? And then you don't get slave and, not slave, but you get eliminated and pushed down to death, really, really easily. So we don't have to really change that. We have Fury as well. Fury is the infamous Fury Flask combo or Fury whatever combo. Very, very strong. So we decided to nerf both aspects of Fury. So the damage buff is now 20 and a damage reduction buff is 20 as well. So the combination of Fury and Fire Flask is going to deal less damage. And then the damage reduction you get from Fury as well, it should be a little bit lower. So it's a bit more in line with other buffs that we have that do like multiple effects. It's still strong, but you're not gonna. It's gonna be hard to one-shot people when you have Fury active.
Yep.
That's good.
Cool.
Invigorate, Shaolin's unique tier 3 feat. So again, Invigorate kind of is in a weird spot where Shaolin for a long time was not like the best hero. We've buffed Shaolin, is now much more playable, which is amazing. But at the same time, Invigorate was a bit of a problem, right? It heals for 8 and cleanses everybody whenever you throw an attack in key stance. No matter if it's blocked, if it's parried, if it hits, if it misses, you are always healing for 8 constantly. And so before it wasn't as much of an issue because it was a lot more difficult to get into key stance and to stay into key stance. But with the flow changes we've been doing to Shaolin like in the past year or so, the hero is much, much, much stronger. And so because of this, you go into key stance a lot more often. And then that healing at 8 is a bit too strong, right? Compared to Varangian, that heals for 5 now and every superior block, and those happen super often. At 4 here, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to like really lower the efficiency by half. So it still cleanses. You can still get a lot of healing off of it, just not as much as you used to before.
Okay.
Finally, Oathbreaker. So Oathbreaker is Funbreaker, basically a lot of the time, right? And we understand that it's a lot of what we've been saying, right? So the original intent for Oathbreaker was to effectively counter revenge shields, right? That was the main issue and the main design goal for Oathbreaker. But when we initially designed it, Noel was one of our like amazing designers who was working on Black Prayer at the time. We tried it to just remove strip shields, and it didn't feel that good. Because you're like, oh, you have to time it a lot, and then somebody pops revenge and whatever. So we decided to go. You can pop it a little bit earlier to prevent shields from applying. Turns out, long term, it's better if you just strip shields.
Yeah.
It took a while. We decided we were talking about it for quite a while. How are we gonna adjust this? And there was like really 2 ways of going about it, right? Either we strip shields or we prevent shields from being applied. And we decided to keep the shield stripping overall. So now, for Oathbreaker, like what the line actually says, is you can no longer prevent target from gaining shields.
Gotcha.
So again, before Oathbreaker, the way it works is I see you got your revenge, you haven't popped it yet. I'm gonna do Oathbreaker on you, and you can still pop revenge, but you're not gonna get your shields at all. It removes a lot of the decision and a lot of the timing with the feat when you prevent the shield activation from happening. So instead, what it does now is I have to wait until you pop revenge for me to pop it. You can bait revenge activation. There's a lot of stuff you can do as a player to kind of counter. There's a bit more counterplay to Oathbreaker than it was before. That should make a big difference there. And also, right now, we have a known issue that we're still looking into, like if we're going to keep it as is, which is that normally when we do our feats, we check for is the feat going to do something, right? So in this case, you can still trigger the feat if the person you're locked onto does not have shields. So meaning you can waste the feat. We're going to look into, do we keep it this way? Do we put back the condition? But we wanted to change Oathbreaker at this moment specifically because it's been overperforming. A lot of complaints about it. I completely understand.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like we're addressing it and going in that way. We're going to keep an eye on it as well and see if we need to do like more to it as we go along.
Makes sense.
Finally, tier 4 feats. Fire Flask. So Fire Flask is a Viking unique feat that deals... So the way Fire Flask works is that when you throw, it's kind of like catapult, right? There's a middle, and then there's like it kind of expands. And the damage from the middle started at 50 and it expanded all the way, I think, to 20. So we've lowered the maximum damage to 30, and it expands to the same value, which I think is 20, but it might be 10. I'm sorry, I can forget things sometimes. Getting old.
Oh, come on.
That's how it works. But basically is because of this, first of all, the initial impact of Fire Flask is going to deal less damage almost regardless because the curve still stays the same. So if it was at 50 and it drops off to 20, then the closer you are to the middle, the more damage you would take. You would take like closer to 50. Now you're going to take closer to 30, which is much, much lower. It's like 20 less. So the initial impact plus the nerf to Fury means that Fury Flask should give players more time to be able to run out of the fire, go heal, go cleanse, and lower the efficiency of that specific feat combo. But even if we weren't going to nerf Fury, Fire Flash still needed to be nerfed there a little bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're going towards. Spear Storm, right? So Highlander had Spear Storm. It wasn't that much of an issue before because Highlander was not necessarily very competitive. With the recent rework, there's been a big uptick with Highlander. There's still some issues that we're looking to fix in terms of like input comfort and all that sort of stuff. But overall, the hero is much stronger. And so we had to nerf Spear Storm, right? Spear Storm, when it was dealing 70 per wave, could effectively one-shot pretty much everybody,
Yeah.
right? If you get hit by the first one, the other two are more or less guaranteed, and you would take like 70 plus 70 plus 70, you'd be dead, no matter if you have like a bunch of perks and feats and whatever. So we're lowering it to 30. It's a massive, massive decrease, but the total max damage you can deal with this is going to be 90, a bit more if you have Fury.
Yeah.
But outside of this, like this is a big change for Highlander. This needed to happen because that feat was just, you're dead. And there's nothing you can really do about it. On top of it being hard to hear from external, it comes in pretty quickly. It's like, it's, because there's other heroes that have feats that do almost instant kills or whatever.
Yeah.
But the difference is that they're usually a lot more reactable. We wanna have like those feats that if you're gonna be able to deal a massive amount of damage, if the reward is gonna be huge, you need to be able to really time them properly. With this, it was a lot easier to just throw it and nobody saw you and you're dead, right?
Yeah.
So that's the big idea here. Nerfing Spear Storm, so that goes. And finally, we have Fear itself. That decreases the defense of opponents by 40%, down from 50. So it's a smaller nerf on Fear itself, but Fear itself combined with a bunch of other feats ends up being like a little bit too strong. I don't know if you remember the unholy days of Peacekeeper having sharpened blades and Fear itself and just going, hey, I'm going to bleed you for your entire life in one shot.
I mean,
that was fun.
they were
but
fun for a while.
yeah, for a little while,
For a
right?
little while.
When
Yeah.
PK was like top tier. So by lowering that a little bit, it lowers the effectiveness of that feat. Not by a massive amount. We're going to keep an eye on it again to see where that goes.
Cool.
So that's it for feats.
That's
So
a lot.
essentially, yeah. So this was supposed to go in a testing rounds.
Yeah.
And I think we can all agree that we can push all of these live. We don't need to do a testing round for this.
Yeah.
We're good to go.
There you go. And so
All right.
enjoy that.
Yeah. Right. And then we go into a little bit more of hero balancing.
Okay, we got
Let's
more. More.
Hero changes, right? So Berserker's been overperforming. Very, very strong hero. We know that there's a lot of like weird issues with it. And so what we're doing with Berserker is first we're lowering his HP down to 125 from 130. Reason being that like with the new dodge cancel, all that stuff that Berserker has now, there's there's less need for trading with the hero. It's still part of his identity. You still have armor and a couple of things. So that's why the HP is like 125 instead of 120, for example. But you need to trade less, and so we're comfortable with lowering his health a little bit to make sure that works. The second change, though, is much more important. It's a test that we're doing on Berserker. If it ends up working, we're going to look at it. But we're aware there's an issue with dodge attacks and 2 dodge cancels, right? I've been seeing a lot of players like talking about like they're problematic. Part of the issue is that because they're enhanced, you can never really stop them. So if I'm playing Berserker, I can use them offensively, do a side dodge, target swap, do the attack, and then I'm gonna be abusing my trajectories, my weapon hitboxes, hit people that can't parry me, that can only block me, and so you can use it really offensively, which is not the actual purpose that we want to give for these attacks, right? So what we did is it's no longer enhanced, including on external targets. So what that means is if I'm locked on to Max, who's sitting over there, right?
Hey.
And then I side dodge, switch target to you,
Yeah.
and do the attack. If Max blocks spin chop, I'm going to bounce off of him, and it's not even going to reach you. So the idea here is we want to make sure that if somebody blocks it, if somebody is able to stop it in any way, it will stop the attack entirely. Like I said, it's a test we're doing. If it's effective, it's going to work. If it doesn't work, if it ends up being like too frustrating or whatever, it doesn't end up doing what we'd like it to do, we'll look at it again and see how we can change things. But that is one of the big things that we want to look at here is to try to figure out a way to not remove the dodge cancel at the end. We like the dodge cancel parts. It's interesting and also feels like a lot more cohesive, right? If you say this hero can dodge cancel every attack, having exceptions, while it might seem like, oh yeah, it's an exception, it's okay, it adds a burden of knowledge and it makes the hero like less cohesive. So we wanted to make sure that it's a lot more understandable, it makes more sense, it follows the rules. So we'll see where that ends up. It might not be correct. It might be correct. I honestly do not know. We've tested it. We've been debating it quite a bit internally. We'll have to see. But we wanted to try to push a change at least to see if that was a step in the right direction without doing a testing grounds, because it takes a while for that to be able to come back and for us to reintegrate it. So again, it's a test, but it should be good.
Okay.
Next, we have Shinobi. So you might remember in the previous patch, we removed the ability to backstep every single superior block attack. Like every attack that could superior block, we can no longer backstep them. Shinobi had that issue. Even though he doesn't have superior block on backstep lights, you could use backstep lights to counter, to poke, to do a lot of defensive maneuvers that we didn't want that to happen. Not to mention you could backstep light into sickle rain, into a bunch of different things. Sorry. Allergies, my throat is a bit rough these days, but it's okay. So we've removed the ability to backstep those neutral lights, so that Shinobi has to be a bit more on the offensive here.
Yeah.
The next change is Ghoul's Embrace, which is the ranged heavy attack after kicks. It now deals 30 revenge, up from 14, which is the damage it deals. So we know a part of the problem with Shinobi is that there's a lot of ganks that you can do that kind of reset the hit stun constantly and go into it. We've gone over it in the testing grounds that we've had a while ago. We're still investigating like how to finish that testing grounds and like how to apply the tech. Seems to have been pretty promising, but there's still a lot of work to do, so it's taking a bit of time. So in the meantime, we sort of have to do these little patches here and there to make sure that to lower the effectiveness of those ganks. This is why that deals 30 instead of 14. We've looked at increasing the revenge amount on like a bunch of other parts of his kit, and the only one that actually made sense was this one. So this is where we applied it there.
Nice.
Again, we're going to keep a look on how it works for Shinobi, how things evolve, and see if we need to readjust further afterwards.
Okay. Next,
we have Hito. So one change, but a major one. So Charge Mangetsu and Charge Endless Myriad, which is basically just his charge heavies. They now deal 30 damage instead of 34. So initially, they used to deal 34 because they're super slow, very, very long wind-up. Takes a while to get there. But then over time, as Hito has picked up at the higher levels, we've noticed that like they're very, very used in gank situations to guarantee a ton of damage, like later in ganks and stuff. So with this, we decided to like still leave it high, right? 30 is still kind of like we're trying to hit that as our like damage cap ish. There's still some stuff that goes above, but we're trying not to go too much above it. So at 30, it still deals a significant amount of damage, but still not 34. It might seem like it's only 4, but when you factor in damage reduction from a bunch of different things, it hits it quite a bit more.
Gotcha.
So it makes a bit of a difference here. Should be a bit less effective when you're trying to gank with the Hito on the other side.
Nice.
Next up, we have Ephira. So Ephira has a bug fix, but it's also like a balancing fix. So normally, just to give a bit of context here, when you have heroes that can dodge, every hero can dodge, right? But when you dodge with a hero, right, we have a little something we set in the data that says you bump minions that are around you to make sure you can actually dodge when you're in minions and make them move out of the way. And so there was a bit of a bug that slipped by with Ephira that also let her bump players as well. And this causes issues where there's like some weird tech you can do, but basically Ephira can just astro flip into opponents, bump them, and then guarantee more damage afterwards, which is not what we want to do at all. So we we removed it. This was actually one of the bugs we got in the bug reporter, right? That I get like almost every day. I get somebody I get Sam from one of our teams who messages me, goes, look, we have like this is that issue. How are we going to look at them and all that stuff? Because, it's not always obvious for everybody. Not everybody's in the fight team and understands that the data is super deep. So they contact me on almost daily basis, and then we talk about them. This is one of the issues that was put in the bug reporter. One thing to note, right, is that the bug reporter is for bugs. It's not for feedback. If you want to give feedback, there's a million other channels to give feedback, right? I'm on Reddit all the time. I love seeing the threads on Reddit about like a bunch of different things. So that's cool. But if you want to give feedback, you can go on Reddit, you can go on Twitter, you can go on official forums, whatever. If you want to give out bugs, bug reporter, #1 place, right? It's amazing.
Good.
So, okay, let's keep going. Centurion. So Lion's Roar, which is like the light follow-up after a guard break. It no longer requires strict timing. We've been removing those as time goes, so you can just like mash it. It's going to come out. A little bit of a quality of life, but still makes a bit of a difference. Then Peacekeeper, we've increased the forward range of your side dodge attacks to be more in line with other attacks that have that. So it's not a massive increase, but it's enough that, like, normally when you do a side dodge into a heavy with Peacekeeper, like, she barely had any reach forward. So players could be, like, a little bit too far away and would miss a lot. So
Yeah.
this should be a bit more consistent now as to when you're going to be using it. So that's going to be interesting. We're also looking at other buffs for Peacekeeper after what we've done to see, like, to improve her flow a little bit. So this is going to be maybe coming in the future. I don't have a date. But just to make people, just to reassure people, we are looking at Peacekeeper. It's one of the things we have in mind. So keep your eyes peeled. We're going to get good stuff coming. Finally, we have Nusha. So there's two things with Nusha. One of them is more of an input comfort thing, but the other one is something that we're going to be talking about on the next slide as well, is our heavy finishers no longer apply uninterruptible stance on the victim. So basically, if I landed a heavy finisher on you, and then you kind of, it grabs you, it pins you, throws you against somewhere, during the entire duration, you had armor.
Right.
And so because of this, you could take a bunch of hits, and it doesn't go into further damage reduction. It doesn't go into these things because you're not going into a hit reaction. You're just tanking the hits. And so it was a little bit problematic. It wasn't really necessarily needed, so we removed it. And then you will see as we go along, there's a bit more changes that go into that as well. But we also adjusted the input comfort for follow-up attacks during heavy finishers. So what this means is when we removed Reflex Guard, there was a bit more leeway as to when you could land a heavy finisher, do a wall splat, and then like buffer like a top heavy, for example, to make sure you would get your attack going. And the input buffer was a bit bigger because you could change your guard during your recovery. But when we removed this, we removed the ability to remove it, to change it super quickly. And it made the attacks way harder to kind of pull off and to land. So we really extended the buffer window for this. You can throw heavy, you can press heavy way earlier in the recovery, and it will come out at the end on frame 0 to make sure that it's a lot more consistent there.
Very
Like nice little quality of life change there for Nusha.
Nice.
Should go well into going further.
There we go.
And then finally, this is the last change we're doing. We have removed uninterruptible stance on guard break throw victims. So a bit of history here. About half the cast did it, and the other half of the cast did not.
Right.
And so we've decided to standardize it because it made no sense. It was a weird inconsistency that was based from a long time ago where we tended to put armor on a lot of attacks when if you got hit out of them, the realization of things, right? How the visual outcome of it didn't look super good. So we a lot of the time we would put armor on these to make sure it looked great, right?
Yeah.
Over time, our stance on this has changed because we realized as we evolved playing the game ourselves and watching players play the game, and as we like working on it, it's not really necessary, and we rather take the hit and realization to have better gameplay. Because this, what ends up happening is that sometimes, if I had a hero, I would throw you, my allies could wail on you, and nothing would happen. You would just take full damage.
Right.
Some other hero, I would do the same. You would take a hit, you go into a hit reaction. What's going on here, right? We're not going to list because it's like half the cast. It's like, we're going to be here until Sunday, so whatever.
Sure.
But really, like the important thing here is we've standardized this so that if you throw somebody and they get hit before they hit a wall, before anything happens, they're going to go into hit reaction 100% of the time to make sure that these are no longer like weird ganking tools that are kind of like really character specific, but just to make sure like this is super clear, it was not intentionally character specific. I don't want people to come in and think, oh, this was like, something that specifically I did on like this or that hero. It was relics of the past and on how we build heroes, and we wanted to really rationalize it and go look at it and go, okay, this is no longer necessary. We don't want to do it. And this is how it goes. So it's a slight nerf for some heroes, and for the rest of the cast, it doesn't change.
And I think we even challenge you out there, like who knows which heroes had these?
Exactly,
right?
like you can.
Like I didn't know that.
See, now
that was the thing.
Some people are gonna go and they're gonna.
I know they're gonna call me out on it. I know. Like, I've been playing the game since launch. I didn't know that.
I know, right? So that's the thing, right? So that's kind of it for balance changes, but like a pretty hefty patch, like a lot of stuff.
That's
happening.
a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, super happy about it. Again, any comments anywhere, you like it, you don't like it, you can tell us. I'll be happy to read every single comment. It's all good.
Maybe don't always read every comment though.
Like
give yourself some break.
I probably
a little bit of a break.
I probably should stop sometimes, but I'm addicted to it.
I know you are. I know you are.
It's amazing.
Oh man. All right. Well, and I hope you all appreciate how addicted he is to feedback on this stuff too. All right. And again, don't forget about Bug Reporter out there too. If you do find those bugs, we really appreciate that kind of feedback too. It's super useful to us. So all that feedback is great. So thank you for that. And JC, thank you again for coming on, helping to explain all these in such great detail. You always make it super clear and understandable, like the changes, why they're being made, and it's always very enlightening. So thank you so much for that and for sharing your infinite wisdom and insight
Thank
on
you.
all things balancing and game
happy
design.
season 30.
And happy season 30. That's great.
Amazing.
Cool. All right. So, folks, stick around, though. We're going to be right back with the wrap-up, so don't go anywhere. All right.
And we're back.
What's up?
Здравствуйте, everybody. How exciting was the 30th season reveal?
Pretty awesome. I like the move.
The Wire. The
Move
Wire.
there. Nobody saw it either. That's the important thing. As long as we don't draw attention.
The Wire is the best. This
Yeah.
Wire, HBO's Wire.
That's
No.
all the wires. We like
but yeah,
wires.
exciting stuff for the new season. The Muramasa Blade is going live in just 2 days. 2 days. I think that might be the shortest between a den and the season.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Yeah.
But yeah, so just let's recap what we got going on here. First up, we have the Battle Pass, Battle Bundle, and Legacy Pass, all starting on June 13th, as well as the free event pass, the Bridge of 1,000 Blades.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
We've also got the Orochi Hero skin for Master Katashi, available again, $11.99 US dollars, 25K steel. And for those of you who thought new voice lines were coming because we did trailer magic, we didn't mean to mislead you, but we do want to clarify.
Yeah.
There aren't spiffy voice lines with coming. It's just trailer stuff. We've also got armor variations for the Samurai, the Wulin, and the Outlanders.
Those look good.
Yeah.
Those look like really, really good.
I feel like everybody won.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah.
And then we've got a competitive circuit, Friend or Foe, starting June 29th. That's just 3 weeks. That's super soon.
Oh, man.
So get your signups on now because they are live. You can sign up right now.
I can't wait to watch because I wish I could play, but
Yeah, I wish I could play in general.
yeah.
But
You're pretty good. You're pretty good, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, you're
no.
you're good. You're
No,
fine. You're fine.
in real life maybe, but not
There you
no. In the game, I eat all the things. And then we've got a trio of Hero Fests. We've got Kensei, Shinobi, and Kyoshin. Shout out to Max for the Spivvy asset, so you can keep the dates straight in your head, as well as we've got a throwback event, the Carousel of Fire, coming on July 11th to July 18th. I always love a good carousel.
I do too. Carousels are great. They usually go around.
Well, both in For Honor, where there's
Yeah.
lots of murder,
Mm-hmm,
which I'm I can't say.
You're a fan of what now?
I like in the game.
Yeah.
And then I also like a nice carousel. It's the music that gets me.
The music's always pleasant on there. Yeah, and I like Max's. I liked his image too. So now people can just like take a nice screenshot. of that and
I
have
can't
it.
wait to see it up on the Reddit. Don't let me down, guys.
Yeah, we got this.
Guys and gals.
All the players out there, all the warriors out there. But hey, guess what? We got some content of the week coming for you. So in 2 days, June 13th, we got some amazing stuff. So first of all, some retrofit content for you all out there. We noticed that there was a little lack of music in some of our recent heroes, so we thought we'd go through and retrofit some amazing musical instruments. So the Bard's flute, Bard's harp, Bard's horn, and the Bard's lute. Coming for all heroes who were missing them, so lots of Outlanders.
Cough drop commercial.
That's right. Get the Ricola, right? That's
we're not there.
we're not. Oh no, never mind. Sorry. The Rick's favorite cola that he drinks all the time, and I didn't say anything different, so that's great. Don't at me, please. Beyond that, too, we have a time-limited illustrious outfit coming next week. The Summer Claws, which
Crab.
for 20k, so it's a crab. It's
crab.
so cute.
Doesn't he do a backflip?
Wait, we gotta say, so that's for the
Yeah.
idol. He dances on the
Get your
emotes.
crab rave on.
Get the crab rave. And here's the best. You get the execution. He does a flip.
He does a flip.
It's the best.
He did the flip.
It's amazing.
That's
so.
flipping awesome.
It is the best crab themed MOG I think we've ever had. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
We have a time limit execution as well coming in 2 days as well. The Kunai Blast available for all heroes for 10k steel, and it does ledge.
It ledges. It's a
Ledges.
ranged ledge.
All right.
It's everything I've always. It's everything I never knew I always wanted.
Right. It's throwing kunais, it's explosive tags, it's ledging capabilities and all that stuff. It's great. So
Yeah. So if you see a certain someone in your lobbies who's just profusely ranged ledging people, it's not me.
it's not you, but
It's not me.
but it might be him. So there's that. So that's great. Of course the hero skin, which we saw, that's looking super sick. That's amazing. We have some event orders coming up for the
We
week
do.
as well. The Bridge of 1,000 Blades week 1. So that is starting this weekend, June 14th. So be the faction with the most Dominion matches 1, and then for week 2, starting on June 21st, be the faction with the most executions performed, so do all of that, and you can get some sweet event orders and all the rewards there. Of course, also the arcade weekly quest will be available, the Sao Mesa Celebration on Thursday, so check that out. And a small reminder out there that for all of the... Oh, wait, you're doing that one. Never mind. So
No, it's fine.
No, it's-
Yeah,
I thought
Oh,
I saw my name
FYI.
on the notes. My bad.
FYI, reminder, because of some back-end stuff, orders will be reset
There you go.
on June 13th. So if you have any in progress, make sure and wrap them up now
Wrap
so
it
they
up.
don't get reset. We saw some confusion on the subreddit around this. People were like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Are they going to take away? No, if you've completed the orders, you're fine. It's only if they're in progress when the maintenance happens. Unfortunately, there's no way around it. They get reset.
We just want to warn people.
So just make sure your orders are cleared out, that you've got them all complete, because if they're active and you're like halfway through it, it's going to get reset, and there's not really anything we could do to prevent that. So we're trying to make sure you guys know about it. But I think that's everything for the recap. All of that.
Yeah.
It's time for Community Corner.
Community corner.
Nolan hasn't seen these.
I have not.
I have. Let's take a look at them.
I'm excited. It's my favorite part of the day. I mean,
I did. Well, I'm waiting.
we got our live picture-in-picture here.
Here we go. First up, one opening is all I need, says the Raider.
Okay.
I like this one because I feel like this is mostly when I win. This is how it goes. Most of the time, I just.
Oh, he got the parry.
Yeah, that's all he needs. That's all he
He
needs.
got the second parry.
Oh,
I can't say he's panicking. He's panicking.
and
There it
there's the
is.
brown
Nice.
pants.
Nice.
Boosh.
Never
Right
give
in
up.
top
You
of the
never
top.
give up, all right? It's not over until it's over.
Never stop, never stopping. Next up, we got Juggernaut versus Fire Flask by I Got Bone from the subreddit. Yes, I know that's not your name. I did that intentionally. I'm not saying that. You got to change your name. The Zerk deflect goes.
Oh.
I just want to give some Berserker love. I feel like anytime that we spotlight Berserker, all the mains jump into chat and they're like, "My guy!"
He's got some of the sickest deflect. Did you just throw a hand axe at him too? That was a great end to that.
Nice.
Just make sure you got the ledge.
On top. And just some silly For Honor things. Just some silly For Honor things.
I love the art, like all the fan art people make.
Our
in
art
games.
community is unmatched.
It's really good, yeah.
All of it. Even the weird stuff that you guys put together.
You know the ones, but
And here you saw it on the title, but we've got your average Lawbringer mirror match. This is just how these things tend to go.
it's just a lot of parries and follow-ups and parries. And
It's
Again,
just,
the important thing.
I said never stop, never stopping. And what is more the embodiment of that than Lawboy versus Lawboy fighting for who's the most boy of the law?
I appreciate that at this point in the match, they are both in on the joke and they're committing to it.
I know. I love it. I love
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Finally, the suffering has ended.
Well played, all of you.
So I really have a lot of fun. I know a lot of us here have fun looking over all of the submissions. It's something that I love to do for the community, just to shine a light on all of the awesome things you guys post. So if you want a shot at seeing your stuff featured, always post it to the subreddit. It's not going into the void. Myself, JC, a bunch of others are always just creeping. We're always creeping. Sometimes,
but in a nice
sometimes
way.
we pop out and go, "Hey, remember I exist?" And then we go back to lurk mode. But yeah, so I think I think we might raid someone. I'm not sure, but we're gonna do that in just a sec. But before we do that, a couple of things. We've got a roadmap. Let's take a look at it. Packed full of stuff.
Yep.
This should be pinned on the subreddit.
It's on the subreddit,
and it's
yep.
also pinned on Twitter. So you can check it out, either of those places. Quick personal note. I'm going to be out for like 4 months because I made the decision to spawn a child into the world.
Congrats.
Yeah, I'm going to be a dad.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Yeah.
amazing. For this guy. So it's
But yeah,
amazing.
I'm going to raise him to be a little knight. I'm going to put a lance on the stroller. Other babies better get out of the way.
You're already doing it right. You're doing it right.
But yeah, so I'll be out for like a while on parental leave. So if you don't see me, I didn't die or disappear. I just had a kid. So, but yeah, I think that's everything, right? Do we have anything else to mention?
Seems like a lot. I mean, we got a little reminder. Are we raiding?
Yeah, we're going to raid somebody.
Raid
I
somebody.
think if Havoc's live, we're going to raid Havoc. If not, we're going to raid someone else. But either way, just say raw when we do it.
Raw.
Yeah, just
All right.
spam raw. I'm in a conk mood. I've seen a lot of good conk love lately. Like a bunch of players invented their own game mode where it's like all conquerors on the bridge on docks, like fighting. And they can only use bash.
What?
And it's like knocking each other off the bridge. It's great. It's the best. It's the best shit I've seen in a minute.
30 seasons and y'all still surprise me. I love it. It's amazing.
So thank you so much for tuning in, and we can't wait to see how you guys react to the new season, to all the stuff we've got coming for you. Don't forget to follow us. Follow us. Follow us on all the places. We are at For Honor Game almost everywhere, and then we are at For Honor on Reddit. So thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the battlefield.
Bye.